Hello, welcome back to another Pen Talk. Thanks for tuning in, and the journey continues and continues. So, yes, I got another Moonman, and yes, it's the newer style packaging, and I didn't talk about it, but yes, Moonman, feel the temperature of writing. Probably not a slogan I would have chosen, but probably something translated from Chinese. We'll look and see if I can translate what's above it. But what's really important is what's in the box. And as we slide out the drawer, we'll see, wow, their new clear pen. Very nice. It was in a plastic sleeve, and I got a really nice note from Bobby. It's always a pleasure doing business with Bobby. So the first thing that strikes you about this pen, kind of like the wooden M6s, it's a good size. It's also a clean design. Nice acrylic. Good number 6 Moonman nib, which I really liked on the M6. I think I got the purple section. Purple or red are the two choices, but this has both colors in it, so I'll leave you to decide which one I got. Whatever it is, I'm fine with it. You know, this is just extremely well machined, as we've learned to expect. And much to my amazement, it has a flat side on it, which I didn't expect or didn't know until I felt it. It's kind of hard to see, but it's there. You have to trust me on it. There we go. There's that flat spot. Lights are reflecting off of it, and there's the rounded spot. So this pen unscrews about 1.5 turns. Some crud there from packaging. I mean, the thing that you notice is this pen has a nice substantial feel to it. Does it post? No, it doesn't, but I didn't expect it to with that minimalistic design. You got a big step up here, but that's a long ways away from the nib. You know, with a number 6 nib, you're probably not going to be holding it way back here. The threads are fine, you don't feel them. You know, the section unscrews very tight, which is what you would like, because this is probably going to be eyedroppered. A lot of threads there, a lot of fine threads, a nice O-ring, and right where I like it, at the top of the section, so that hopefully minimizes any ink to get into the threads. And this section's pretty wild. There's a lot of chatoyan seed pearlescence there in that resin. I've not seen a pen made out of this resin, so that makes it kind of unique. You may be hearing some background noise. I think one of my neighbors is getting some of his tree work taken care of. You know, that classic feed, everything is as you would expect. Simplistic converter. It works fine, at least what I've had in other pens. So we'll do a little comparison. We'll put some ink in here and see if this nib performs as well as the two-tone on the M6. So here we have some transparent eyedropper, maybe pocket fountain pens. Here we have the new C1 from Moonman. Here we have the 2 Moonman M1s. Here's your original one with this red band, and here's a version of it where they used a colored section. I just wanted to show it as an evolution. And here's the Lakai, which is with the original Moonman that they did, and may still be the best. And for reference, here's a Pen BBS 323 in the 16, the glass clear acrylic, which I think deserves to be in this group. It did come with a converter, and so did the C1 come with a converter, where these three do not. And these are standard international converters on the C1, so you can easily put something else in place if you want. So all of these acrylics are very nicely done. I think you can tell from the light that I have as I move things a little bit around that these have their own advantages and characteristics. But what we have here is on the Pen BBS, we have a nice number 6 nib like we have on the C1, but the C1 is a Moonman. This is a Pen BBS. The Moonman nib, as you know from the M6 wooden one that I did, is an excellent nib. And so are these other nibs. You know, at the end of the day, a lot of people ask me what nib is best. And if a nib doesn't work, I'll say that in my videos. Some nibs may not be to my preference, but some people love extra fines and fines. Some people don't want a wet, broad nib. So I think I need to respect other people's opinions, and what I try to do is give you a view of the pens and let you make your own decisions as to whether this pen is something you would like to add to your life experience, or something you'd like to write with, or whatever you'd like to do with it. So hopefully this comparison helps you make that decision. Before I ink it up, I just wanted to show a nice close-up of this pen in its uninked, clear look. I just think they did an excellent job with a design which, you know, there's a few familiar features to it, but then there's only so much you can do with a pen and still have it be a pen without being something that may not look like a pen. That flat spot is excellent that they put in there. You don't really see it or notice it, but it does work to keep it from rolling if you place it down gently on that flat spot. And number 6 nib is a good size. It fits well there. And there's plenty of clearance at the top, so you won't be limited to what number 6 nibs you might want to put in there if you do want to replace this. But I think if you like a extra fine nib, I think it'll be great. It was good in the M6, the wooden pen. But this acrylic is just extremely well machined. The pen feels great in the hand. There's that flat spot again. And so I just wanted to admire this before I put ink in it, because once I put the ink in it, it's probably never going to be this clear. I might be able to clean it out, but I'd rather not chance it. So we'll take a look at the ink, and then we'll ink it up, and we'll see if this nib performs as well as the two-tone on the M6. Beautiful pen. As you know, I flush every new pen. To me, it's just safe pen habit. So I flushed it with my solution of soap and a little bit of ammonia in it. And with this bulb syringe, what I like is to notice the flow that comes out. So I'd say that's on the medium wet side. So we're going to dry that out before we put any ink in. So what ink was a real challenge of this pen? Originally I wanted like a permanent blue, but I was concerned about a permanent blue staining the barrel. So this ink struck my fancy. And why? Because when I looked at the chromatography, I said, that looks like it might look good in this pen. You know, it looks kind of blue in the viewfinder, but it is kind of on the purple side of blue. Here we'll see the color card, and there is a interesting amount of sheen there in the ink. It's always interesting to catch that right angle of the light. So we're going to fill the pen with this, see how many milliliters it takes, and then put nib to paper. Those that follow my channel, I think I've mentioned before, I buy these by the boatload. You know, for a couple bucks you can get a bunch of these, and they sometimes come with different nibs, but they screw in and screw out. So once you get a set of these, you're pretty much set. But what I have noticed is the graduation marks wear off pretty quickly. They're not really on there with some permanence. So I keep one of these that I can use to measure ink. So we talk about ink bottles having their challenges. That's a small opening. But thankfully, we're not going to have to put the pen in there. I'm going to pull up 5 milliliters of ink. So that way we can fill the pen and measure how much ink goes into the pen. So prior to this, I've silicone grease the O-ring and the threads. And this takes a fair amount of muscle to get that thing off. You could hear that little pop. So that's going to really seal well. And that's one of the good signs of and that little ring came off. So it's one of the good signs of an eyedropper pen. That's how it should look. Yeah, everything's nice in silicone grease, so that's well. And it's an interesting acrylic in that section. I don't think I'd want a whole pen made of it, but just a section is fine. So now we're going to fill this pen from the eyedropper, and I have 5 milliliters of ink in here. So we'll fill up the pen and we'll see what remains in the syringe when we're done filling it up. I pretty much fill it up near the top of the threads. One of my viewers said that's a good thing to do. I don't want to really get ink on the threads, and I pretty much put 5 milliliters in there, which is an awful lot. Excuse me, at least it was the camera and not the pen. An awful lot of ink. So we're going to insert the section. And like I said, you need to put some pressure on this thing to get that air. There we go. The O-ring goes through, and then the threads engage. And we'll set this aside and let the feed saturate, and then we'll put nib to paper. So one of the other unique features about this pen is that it has very flat ends, and it easily stands up on either the barrel end or the cap end. So it's been a while since I've had a pen that has this feature. When I used to do my office stuff, I used to always like to set my pens up like this when they were able to stand on their ends. So that 5 milliliters really filled the pen. There's a little bubble, but not much. I mean, that's about as much ink as I've ever put in any pen ever. So that's something that's really nice. And I do like the color in this pen. You know, you may have put in a color that was a little bit more translucent, not as saturated, but I'm a saturated ink guy, so I like that. The cap comes off in relatively short, a little bit over 1 turn. This pen fits extremely comfortable in the hand. We'll give you the weights, we'll give you that section size. I mean, the section size is almost perfect. Another 0.5 millimeter would have been exactly to my liking, but I like the space that it just has a little bit of concave here, which I enjoy. It flares out a little bit at the end, so you know when you get near the end of the nib. And that step up is quite a ways away from the nib, so you do feel that. It's almost sharp, but you know, you can hold it there if you want, but that's a long ways from that number 6 nib. I mean, this nib is excellent. 3 checks. It is extremely smooth. I'd say this ranks up in my top 5 ever smooth nibs, and considering it's right out of the box, no tuning. Of course, I did my flushing. You put a little pressure on it, it opens up a little bit, but it just gives you that nice little bounce, which I like. You know, it doesn't feel like you're riding on a nail or writing with a nail. So, kudos. Moonman has another great nib. So, my 2 number 6s so far have been very consistent. This one might be slightly smoother and slightly wetter than the one on the M6, but both of them are very pleasurable writing experiences. And we'll put it 2 checks next to pleasurable. So now comes that all important rating. Again, I'm having challenges with this because I go through my mind all the different pens I've rated and what I like and what I don't like, and etc., etc., etc. I'm going to give this one a tie with my highest ranking of 9.8 and 3 checks. The nib is great. The pen is extremely well designed, extremely well made. It just works. Yes, it doesn't have a clip, but that never has bothered me. If I need to carry around a pen without a clip, I'll put it in a pen sleeve and throw it in my pocket. So, you know, not all pens need a clip, and I can't imagine what the aesthetics of this pen would be like if it did have a clip. Let's see if we can catch that flat spot. There we go. Shows up a little bit better with the ink in the pen. I mean, just the fact that they machined that flat spot in there is just an excellent little touch that they've done. And to me, that just puts the pen on the high level when you see all those nice little touches. You know, the fact that that O-ring is up there at the top above the thread, so the threads stay nice and clean. It's just overall a wonderful pen, and this incredible value for the price. I mean, I put this up against any Demonstrator pen that you eyedropper that's made by other manufacturers that might cost 5 to 10 to 20x more than this pen. So 3 checks for value. And this nib is just excellent. So we've reached the end of this video, so thank you for watching. Hopefully you get to enjoy a nib that's as pleasurable as this one, and a pen that you like as much as I like this one. And I seem to be on a roll lately because my Moonman pens that I've gotten have just been excellent. And unexpected. I didn't know the models were showing up until I saw them on Etsy and eBay and search around. And you can find, when a pen first comes out, pricing can be all over the place. So obviously Bobby's sites is where I check first. And when he has it, generally I know that he always prices stuff extremely well. So may you have many pleasurable writing experiences. May you enjoy that feeling of putting your thoughts on paper with ink and maybe sharing them with others. So enjoy all your writing experiences. Enjoy the day. Enjoy your life. Until the next video, bye for now. And I really enjoy this ink and nib pen combo.